men. To the soul-stirring wisdom of children will listen, to the joyous, rebellious charm of Do-Re-Mi. With dazzling harmonies, show-stopping flair, and a touch or more of jazz hands, the Twin Cities Gay Men's Chorus will take you on a thrilling, emotional, and downright life-changing musical journey. It's the electric energy of 180 voices, bold, unapologetic, and dripping with Broadway brilliance. This isn't just a concert, it's a celebration of pride, power, and the irresistible magic of Broadway. The dates are June 21st and 22nd at the Ordway. Tickets start at $28. Get yours today at tcgmc.org. That's tcgmc.org. It's entertainment worth coming out for.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Tom Wetston. Today, scattered afternoon showers and a high of 78. For tonight, more showers and thunderstorms, low 59 degrees. Sunday brings us more of the same, scattered showers and thunderstorms, high 73 degrees. Crooner's Supper Club is a little piece of old-school nightlife in the 21st century. Find the upcoming music schedule and more details at croonersmn.com.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Living Healthy and Aging Well. My name is Ken Haglind, and we are broadcasting from the AM 950 radio station that overlooks beautiful Bryant Lake Regional Park, located in Eden Prairie, Minnesota. It is another gorgeous day here in the Twin Cities, and I am so grateful to be here with you today. I hope all of you listening are doing well. We are on the air every Saturday from noon to 1 to talk about your health and your life. We cover a wide range of topics to help you and your loved ones improve and enjoy your quality of life. We have another great show for you today. Joining me in a few minutes will be Steve Smella. He is the owner of Senior Helpers of the South Metro, and Grace Hepker, she is the Client Services Manager. They are here to share with us the benefits of in-home senior care by Senior Helpers. Founded in 2002, Senior Helpers has over 360 locations around the nation, and their mission is to help seniors stay in their homes, wherever home may be. Their caregivers assist their clients with daily tasks like housekeeping, meal preparation, running errands, bathing and dressing, and medication reminders. It's like having services provided in assisted living communities, but in your own home on your own schedule with one-on-one personalized care. And they also partner with hospice agencies like Minnesota Hospice to provide higher levels of service at end of life. You will enjoy listening to my conversation today with Steve and Grace. I want to thank all of you that leave us messages on our radio show phone line. We appreciate hearing from you, and we welcome your comments, questions, and topics for future shows. Also, if you are interested in being a guest on our radio show, please call or text us at 612-999-3426. You can also contact us on our website at livinghealthyradio.com. There you can find information about upcoming guests as well as listen to our previous shows. We look forward to hearing from you. We are adding new listeners to the show each week, not only here in the Twin Cities of Minnesota, but also throughout the country. You can find podcasts for all of our radio shows on the AM 950 radio website. And we can also be found on your favorite streaming service, iTunes, Spotify, and many others. You can also watch our broadcast live on the radio station's Facebook page at AM 950 Radio. There are two ways to get your questions answered today. First, by calling the AM 950 radio station, and our friendly show engineer, Tom, will get your call on the air. Our phone number is 952-946-6205. Once again, 952-946-6205. Or you can text us your question at 612-999-3426. Now, don't worry if you missed our contact numbers. I'll repeat them throughout the show. All right. I want to welcome my guests for today's show, Steve Smella, owner of Senior Helpers of the South Metro, and Grace Hepker, Client Services Manager. Welcome to the show, Steve and Grace.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, before we begin our conversation, and this is such a timely topic because there's so many people needing so much help to keep their loved ones comfortable, safe in their own homes. But before we get into that, let's just talk about your background, get a sense of who you guys are, and then what inspired you to move into this area of caregiving.
So I never thought I would own a home care business. I think most people in the industry would say that. I grew up in New Jersey, went to Princeton and got a degree in geology. And then I moved to Minnesota in 1990 to get a PhD from the U of M. And my dissertation topic was employee-owned companies. And through that, I always thought, gee, someday I want to own a business and run it according to all these wonderful ideas I'm studying. And after a career as a data scientist and a stay-at-home dad, I got to a point in my life in 2021 where I thought, if I don't be a business owner now, I'm never going to do it. So I just need to do it. And so I started looking for businesses to buy, and Senior Helpers was for sale, and that caught my eye. And I thought, wow, this is a good size business, and it's a business where the employees are the asset. And it also aligned with my experience from my parents. My parents kind of went through the whole journey of trying to stay in their home and then moving to assisted living. And my mom died during COVID, and then my dad went to memory care, and then he passed away. So I really feel like I've been on the journey that a lot of our families have been, and that really, helps me relate and understand their situation.
Yeah, boy, it helps to have a personal connection to the work you do.
Mm-hmm.
And I find that, especially with our nurses in hospice, they've had some connection. A family member has been on hospice, or somehow they've had a connection there, and it just makes them such a better provider and caregiver and understanding the needs of our patients, and like you say, for your clients as well.
Right.
Well, that's fantastic. So post-COVID, you jumped into this.
Yes, I was glad not to have started during COVID, but the owner of the Fargo Senior Helpers opened in like March of 2020.
2020.
Yeah.
Oh, I've heard of a number of businesses that started 2020 in March. That's crazy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Grace.
Yeah.
Tell us about yourself.
Yeah, so I think that my connection to aging and aging services started really subtly when I was young. I was not someone that wanted to go on vacation on spring break. I wanted to go be with my grandparents. They were an hour away growing up, and I'm very lucky for that, and lucky for all the time I was able to spend with them. I got a part-time job at a senior living facility in Des Moines when I was in high school. And it wasn't until I worked there for a while, and I would come home, and my mom was the one saying, you come home and, it doesn't seem like you just came home from work. You really do enjoy this. So I went to my undergraduate school was at University of Nebraska. I started in public health because that was the closest I thought I was going to get to aging services. And I was introduced to gerontology. So my undergraduate degree is in gerontology. And I didn't really realize how, I guess, niche that was until I told people what I was doing, my age. And they said, why would you do that? That's smelly and that's depressing. And why would you do that? And so that made me want to do it even more. And so I recently just finished my master's in aging services through Southern California. So I'm really grateful that my path has, led me all things aging. It came to me, I think.
Yeah.
And it just feels very natural. So I moved up to Minnesota last June, and I've been at Senior Helper since August, and it's been probably the best experience that I could have asked for. So I'm very lucky to have landed here.
Yeah. Well, one of the few people that has found their sweet spot at kind of a young age. People like Steve and myself, mid-career, all of a sudden you get changed 180 degrees and you realize, oh my gosh, I've been missing the boat here. I kind of found my niche.
Yeah.
And no, that's great to see. I so many of the guests I've had on the show over the years at a point mid-career go, I know what I really should. Well, I know why I'm here. I know why I'm supposed to be here. And it's so amazing because they just love what they do. And many people, especially in the hospice world, same thing. People say, hospice? I don't know how you could do hospice.
Yeah.
You go, no, you don't understand. Hospice found us and they've called us. And it's the most amazing profession, just like what you guys do. We work alongside you and we're so grateful for the partnership with you guys. And no, it's great. We've got about a minute left here in the segment. Give us maybe a little background, Steve, just on Senior Helpers, because again, there are 360 locations. But what's nice is that you own your own location here. And so tell us a bit about Senior Helpers.
Yeah, so it was started in 2002 by two men, Tony and Peter. Peter is still with the company. He's the CEO. It's, as you said, it's expanded around the country, and there's also Senior Helpers in Australia and Canada. So it's a franchise model. So we get a set of zip codes that we can serve. And in the Twin Cities Metro, there are 7 offices. So we cover the Metro. There's also a Fargo office, which covers Western Minnesota. And we all work very collaboratively together, so that if we get a call for someone whose mom is in Bloomington, we send them over to that office. Yeah.
Well, it's nice to have the resources of a large organization to back you up with all the things. I mean, it's complicated to run a business these days.
Yeah. So there's tons of resources available, from the corporate parent. Lots of, forms and how to do stuff, and a lot of support. So, yeah.
But the beautiful thing is, with the model that you have, is you have local ownership, you have local commitment.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is locally owned. Is and I know our audience here really works on a principle of local ownership, and they love the local owner operators.
One of the nice things that I like is that people can always call me. They can always talk to the owner. Now, it also means that all the different owners have different policies. So our hourly rate might be different from what the Stillwater office has, or that the weekly minimums and policies and so on. So we get to choose that, but it means that, it's not necessarily the same across all locations.
Yeah. All right. Sounds good. All right. Well, let's get into the end of the segment here. It's time for a short break. We'll be right back to continue our conversation with Steve Smela, and the owner and operator of Senior Helpers of the South Metro, and Grace Hepker. She is the client services manager, and they're sharing with us the benefits of in-home senior care by Senior Helpers. If you have a question for us, please give us a call, 952-946-6205, or text us at 612-999-3426. I'm Ken Haglind, and you are listening to Living Healthy and Aging Well.
I'm Rachel Schroman, owner of Schroman Law, and I believe you deserve information. Our firm offers free quarterly estate planning seminars at our office in St. Paul. At these seminars, you can learn the basics of estate planning from an attorney to help you determine which estate planning documents will meet your needs and goals in an efficient and cost-effective manner. You can learn more and register at our website, schromenlaw.com/events. That's SCHROMEN law.com/events.
End-of-life decisions are not easy to make. Hi, I'm Mary T. of Mary T. Hospice Care. It's important to make sure that this difficult time is meaningful and comforting to you and your loved ones. Our hospice team provides an individualized program of physical, emotional, spiritual, and practical care so your loved one is comfortable and not in pain. At Mary T. Hospice, we understand that choosing the right hospice care provider can be overwhelming, but we're here to assist you. Learn more today at marytinc.com.
When was the last time you had your roof inspected for extreme weather and hail damage? This is Chad, owner of AM 950, to talk about the exterior construction company I trust, Snap Construction. If you've noticed new roofing projects in your neighborhood, your home was likely hit by hail last summer and experienced damage. Snap Construction is helping homeowners like you, and they're the roofing specialists I trust. They are the most well-reviewed contractor in the Twin Cities and have a ton of positive customer reviews from homeowners just like you. Even better, Snap Construction's installations are backed by a lifetime warranty, so you know you're dealing with a qualified roofing expert. You want to work with a company that will be here for a long time after the work is done. Snap Construction has handled thousands of claims and will help you through the process. Do yourself a favor and get a free roofing inspection so you have the facts and peace of mind you deserve. Call Snap Construction today at 612-333-SNAP. That's 612-333-SNAP. Or visit snapconstruction.com.
Minnesotans age 65 plus might qualify for Health Partners Minnesota Senior Health Options. The easy all-in-one plan includes personal support, coverage for medical, prescription drugs, and dental, plus many extra benefits. Eligibility information is available at healthpartners.com/oneplan. Health Partners is a health plan that contracts with both Medicare and the Minnesota Medical Assistance Medicaid program to provide benefits of both programs to enrollees. Enrollment in Health Partners depends on contract renewal.
This is Andy Otto, your host of Twin Cities Pride Amplified, inviting you to join us this Saturday at 3 p.m. as we discuss the sponsorship dilemma many Pride festivals are facing this year, including us. Some of our usual sponsors aren't returning, whether it's by their choice or ours. It's a complex situation, but it's not all bad news, and we're here to tell you why. That's this Saturday at 3 p.m., right here on AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
All right, welcome back. You are listening to Living Healthy and Aging Well, where we talk about helping you and your loved ones improve and enjoy your quality of life. My name is Ken Haglind, and joining me today in the main studio here at AM 950 is Steve Smella. He is owner of Senior Helpers of the South Metro, and Grace Hepker, she is the Client Services Manager, and they are sharing with us the benefits of in-home senior care by Senior Helpers. Steve, Grace, how can our listeners contact you guys and your organization if they have questions or want more information?
The best way to reach us is by calling our office. The phone number there is 952-892-8403. You can also go to seniorhelpers.com and type in your zip code, and it will direct you to the correct location throughout the metro. Our office is in Burnsville, so you can also just Google Senior Helpers of Burnsville.
Fantastic. All right. And so just to give people a sense of what to expect, they would call in and say, well, I've got a loved one that we're concerned about. For whatever reason, we don't like them living either alone or the caregiver has to work sometimes or whatever. What can they expect from the process? What does that process look like? Because that's a lot of times the questions I get after the show is, wow, it sounds like a great service, but what are the next steps? And then kind of creates an obstacle for people. Grace, would you maybe just give us a sense for what does that process look like?
Yeah, I think it's less overwhelming than people expect it to be. When you don't have
That's great to hear.
If you never have to do that, you don't know what to expect. So, people will call in and we just kind of get a general recap of their situation, what brought them, how long, the situation has been going on. And our services really have a wide variety. So for some people, we are there for companionship, that light housekeeping, some meal preparation, maybe transportation to appointments, run errands. But then for others, we can do, some more hands-on personal care. So bathing, toileting services, actually eating. So again, it can really serve a wide variety of needs. And I think that, part of the attraction to these kind of services is that you can start on one end and end on another. If you start with that light, once a week being there minimally, if it transitions to being more hands-on care, it can. And so I think that that's a really big plus to these kinds of services is that it follows the progression of the client.
Yeah. I know one of the great benefits of this is the peace of mind for the adult children. I hear that all the time, especially with our practice in hospice. They're just so grateful to be able to have and know that somebody who's qualified to take care, they're trained, can come in and help support them for, like you say, start little, but then you have the ability to expand as the needs arise.
Yep.
As Grace mentioned, it starts with a phone call.
Yeah.
And then if it looks like it's appropriate for us to work with the family, we'll go to the home and do a home visit. Usually that's with, the adult children and the parent or the client or the spouse. And we'll have a conversation and sometimes it turns out we're not the right solution. So
Mhm.
we educate people, and if it looks like it's the right solution, we get the paperwork signed, and then we move forward.
All right. Is there any cost to that initial discussion?
Not for the initial one, right?
Okay.
So with the it's just no cost, no obligation. Lots of times it's just a very nice informational session, and people
Right.
move on to something else. But the costs only start once we start providing
Yeah,
services.
yeah, exactly. Okay. Well, that's a great segue here. Just to recap the services that people can look to from your organization to help them care for their loved one. What would be a quick recap of those services?
Yeah, so it can be hands-on personal care with bathing, hygiene, toileting, but then it can also be things around the house, running errands, housekeeping, companionship.
Okay, and maybe some respite for
Yeah,
the primary
absolutely.
caregiver.
Yes,
You let them get
absolutely.
a
Wait.
chance to.
It's golf season now, so a lot of people want to go play golf. So
Yeah.
we'll come in and watch their spouse or their
Sure.
parent
Mhm.
while they can go out and
Well, it's so important for the well-being of the caregiver, the primary caregiver. All
And
right.
that's something that I find myself talking about a lot in these initial consultations.
Yeah.
People think that it is primarily for their parent or loved one, and it is for the most
Mhm.
part. But burnout is very real, especially with family caregiving. You're
Oh,
putting adult children, spouses in situations of providing skilled care they've never been trained to provide.
mhm.
And that can really put strain on relationships, especially during times when those relationships should be focused on and embraced. And spending time with loved ones during that time of their life is really important. But if you've become their caretaker, you can't do that as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, yeah. I've heard that over and over again over the years. Is I went from being the daughter or the spouse to a caregiver. And I didn't realize the role shifted like that. And I really miss being the daughter or the spouse. And so that's again another reason why it's such a great opportunity. So really, there's no obstacle for someone just getting more information. Just call you guys up. Again, you're focused on the South Metro,
Right.
but you guys have partners all across the Twin Cities. So no matter where you're living, you can give you guys a call and you guys can make sure you get directed there. But there's no cost, and then you get a chance to find out how these things can fit in with their lifestyle and their needs at the time.
And one of the things that I like is that we're a resource of information. So if people, I got a call from a homeless guy in St. Paul asking if I could help him find, an apartment.
Oh,
And that's not what we do, but I told him about the Dorothy Day Center and a bunch of other resources, and and so like our mission is to help people, and
Right.
we don't have to be the paid company to help people. We just like helping people.
And part of that assessment is we also have to decide on our end if this is right for them, because
Mhm.
maybe in-home care isn't the right solution. Maybe they have a really unsafe home and that can be modified, and sometimes it just can't. And so there's a lot of different services. And not all services are right for every single person. And I think that's
Right.
part of what's unique about Steve and I is that we recognize that and are willing to accept that and assist them in their unique situation.
That's a good point because people will say, well, can they customize the services for me or for my family or my situation? And I know I'm working with you guys. That's exactly what you do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so sometimes in-home organizations kind of have a standard cookie cutter approach. And I know that's not the way you guys work. And I think it's a real benefit to the family in doing that. In the last couple of minutes, let's talk about what are the misunderstandings or apprehensions that people have about bringing a organization like you guys into their home and help take care of their loved one.
So I think that the top one is, oh, I'm fine. I don't need help. Right. And well, the daughter is, kicking under the table when the mom's saying, I don't need help. Right. The daughter's
Right.
like, what do you mean you don't need help? I'm here 4 times a week. Right. So that's number one. Number two is the sense of, well, I don't want to lose my independence. Right. And we like to flip that around and say, well, we help you maintain your independence. Right. If the choice of staying in your home with, a few hours of care a week versus having to move to a facility, you're much more independent if you're in your own home and, can kind of call the shots in terms of
Mhm.
what's happening. There's also the fear of strangers in my house. That was a big obstacle for my mom. She, I really tried to get her care, and literally, I had somebody at my mom's front door and she wouldn't let them in because she's really, resistant. But what's nice is once we get started, then we hear stories about like, oh, my mom really loves the caregiver, and they're best buddies at this point. So so those are some of the main concerns that people have.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk more about that when we get back from break here. I know one of the things that ends up happening is that it's something to look forward to. So now all of a sudden someone going, they're coming in next Thursday. And so they get all excited about that because they've got a new relationship that they got started. All right. It's time for a short break, folks. We'll be right back to continue our conversation with Steve Smella, the owner of Senior Helpers of the South Metro, and Grace Hepker, Client Services Manager. If you have a question for us, please give us a call, 952-946-6205, or text us at 612-999-3426. I'm Ken Haglind, and you are listening to Living Healthy and Aging Well.
Hi, Penny here from Nightingale in Minneapolis. Exciting news. During the warmer months, we're extending our charm to the patio. Imagine savoring your favorite dishes outside, surrounded by the lively energy of South Minneapolis near 26th and Lindale. And guess what? Nightingale's patio is not just a dining space. It's also dog-friendly. Craft cocktails, curated wines, and half-price bottles of wine on Mondays are still part of the deal. Open daily 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. with a full menu until midnight. Join us at Nightingale, where good times and great flavors come together.
Hi, this is Laura. Listen to Food Freedom Radio every Saturday at 8 a.m. or anytime via podcast. Our individual health is connected to the health of each other and connected to the health of the earth. We know the problems with the dominant food system: climate change, deadening soils, nitrates in the water, factory farming, injustice, concentration of wealth. How do we both as individuals and as a community step up and support a living food system which honors the earth? Tune to Food Freedom Radio every Saturday at 8 a.m. and remember to support your independent farmers.
Hey, it's Patrick for Zero Rest. June is here, which means you might be having a graduation party at your house soon. Summer also means sleepovers. Your kids are going to be at the playground, at the water park, at the beach. There's going to be a lot of mess coming into the house over the summer, and you need to call my cleaning heroes at Zero Rest to make sure your home is in order for the summer. And since June is here, it's time to take advantage of Zero Rest's best deal of the summer. Zero Rest can take care of any surface in your home or business, including carpet, tile, hardwood, rugs, upholstery, and air ducts. This month, take 20% off all services when you call my friends at Zero Res 9520-RES or go to ZeroResMinnesota.com. Just tell them you want the AM 950 special. Their prompt, courteous team will come out and take care of you. Again, that's 20% off all services this month. Go to ZeroResMinnesota.com or call 9520-RES and ask for the AM 950 special. Zero Res, backward or forward, spells the same.
Introducing a breakthrough in time management technology. A whole new day of the week. It's called Someday. Ingenious. Perhaps someday you are going to go skydiving, enter a hot dog eating contest, maybe ride a mechanical bull. Now it's on the calendar. You may want to retire someday. Ready for that? You'll really want this: a My Social Security account. At socialsecurity.gov, you can estimate your future benefits, plan for your retirement, and how to save for it. If you already receive benefits, you can manage them online. Millions of people already have a My Social Security account. In fact, someone opens one about every 6 seconds. Get yours today, because someday is here at socialsecurity.gov.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Tom Winston. Today, scattered afternoon showers and a high of 78. For tonight, more showers and thunderstorms, low 59 degrees. Sunday brings us more of the same, scattered showers and thunderstorms, high 73 degrees. Crooner's Supper Club is a little piece of old school nightlife in the 21st century. Find the upcoming music schedule and more details at croonersmn.com.
You're listening to AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
Saturday.
Welcome back. You are listening to Living Healthy and Aging Well, where we talk about helping you and your loved ones improve and enjoy your quality of life. My name is Ken Haglind, and joining me today is Steve Smella, and the owner of Senior Helpers of the South Metro, and Grace Hepker. She's the Client Services Manager, and they are here sharing with us the benefits of in-home senior care by Senior Helpers. If you have a question for us, please give us a call, 952-946-6275 and or 612. You can text us at 612-999-3426. I want to mention this radio show is brought to you in part each week by Minnesota Hospice. Minnesota Hospice is an independent, locally owned medical practice serving our Twin Cities communities with comprehensive end-of-life healthcare. The team at Minnesota Hospice provides patients and family members with award-winning end-of-life healthcare services. You may not be aware that hospice brings compassionate medical, social, emotional, and spiritual services directly to your home with typically no cost to you or your family. Please do not wait to learn how hospice care can benefit you and your loved ones. If you have a question regarding end-of-life care or support, please contact the compassionate team of experts at Minnesota Hospice. They are available to answer your questions 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Their phone number is 952-898-1022. Once again, 952-898-1022, or visit them online at minnesotahospice.com. Okay, let's return to our conversation with Steve and Grace. If you have a question for us, give us a call, 952-946-6205, or text us at 612-999-3426. All right, Grace, how can our listeners contact you and your organization if they have questions or want more information?
Yeah, so the best way to contact us would be to call our office. That number is 952-892-8403. There's quite a bit of information that can be found on our website as well. That would be seniorhelpers.com/Burnsville, or you can just Google Senior Helpers Burnsville, and that would come up.
All right, fantastic. There's a lot of great information on this. I encourage people to check your website out. And this is a situation too where people may not think they need it right now, but this is a chance to talk to somebody without being in a crisis situation. We run across that all the time in our profession, and we always encourage people, have the conversation. Doesn't cost you anything. There's no obligation. Like you said, Steve, earlier, no cost, no obligation. Just learn about why this is such an important area to discover how it can help you and your loved ones. So again, I want to reinforce, just give you guys a call. Just find out what your services are. And it sounds like you guys have a wide range of services because everyone's needs are different.
Right.
All right. Well, so last segment, we talked about some of the misunderstandings and apprehensions. I want to make sure we just covered everything you wanted to cover in that section, because I know people have concerns about a stranger coming into the house. And again, I've heard your story, Steve, where the caregiver would show up and the client would not let them in because I just don't know you. And I'm just, people, rightly so, especially our seniors, there's so many scams and there's so many problems that happen because people take advantage of these vulnerable adults.
And that's a big question we get is when people are, exploring this is how do we screen people?
Yes.
And how do we protect against theft and abuse? So we're licensed by the state, and under the state licensing, there is a state background check that's required.
Mm-hmm.
So we do that. We also do a secondary one. I describe it as kind of like what a landlord would do on a tenant. And so we use a background check service, and we find, speeding tickets and other things, things. And then, thankfully we have not, I've owned the business for 3.5 years now, and we haven't had any theft, complaints. That have been verified. Sometimes people misplace things and they think they've been stolen, but we're covered by insurance. And that's one of the benefits of having an agency as opposed to hiring someone independently is if you hire your neighbor and your neighbor falls in your home, then you're liable for that injury. Whereas we're covered by workers' compensation insurance, theft and
liability,
all that good stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Any other apprehensions that you guys come across um, with people? Sometimes I know the concerns that we've heard is that, I have to commit to so many hours a week, or I have to commit to so many days, or those kind of things. How does that work with your services?
Yeah, so our services specifically at our location are pretty flexible. So we don't have any kind of weekly or monthly minimum per
Mm,
week.
okay.
We just ask that when we come out to the home for a shift, it's for at least 4 hours at a time. So we
Mhm.
do have a 4 hour shift minimum. But, those 4 hours really go by pretty quickly, especially, when we're making a meal,
Mhm.
doing some things around the house, and then just conversation and companionship. Those 4 hours go by a lot quicker than most people think they're going to.
Yeah, and I think what's nice too is it really gives the primary caregiver time to go grocery shopping, to get their hair done, to go visit their neighbors. I mean, do the things that keep their well-being high, because that makes them a better caregiver for their loved one. So I think that makes a lot of sense. And can that 4 hours be different times during the day, um, or
Yeah,
how does
so
that
we
work?
operate 24/7. So
Okay,
we do have people, we have a couple right now that we are with 24/7.
okay.
And sometimes we're there 3 times a week for,
Oh,
4 hours each time, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So it really is just you let us know what you need,
okay.
and why we're there. A lot of times people say, I have this appointment that I have to go to every week at this time.
Mhm.
So that's when we would go. So it really fits into what the client would need.
That's a good point, because I know we've also heard that the primary caregiver, let's say it's a spouse or maybe it's a child, they'll neglect their own health care. They won't go to their scheduled doctor visits or whatever because they're taking such great care of their loved one. And again, this is another way that they can maintain their health and their longevity and their quality of life,
Yeah.
is by having you guys partner with them in helping support their loved one.
Yeah, and that happens with spouses a lot. You
Yeah,
really, in those conversations when we go into the home, you really have to emphasize if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of them.
that's right.
And statistically, most people want to age in place. They want to stay in their homes, but if you're not doing that safely, then you can't.
Right.
And so, you have to take care of yourself, or else you can't take care of someone
Yeah,
else.
yeah. That's why it's a real win-win for
It really
for
is.
for
Yeah.
both people, the client and the client's primary caregiver.
And some people don't realize it's going to be. And then they start and they're like, wow, I can get out. I can, take a
You know what?
break.
That's true, because it's like a frog in the beaker. They just don't
Yeah.
realize how much they've given up to take care of their loved one, which again is
Yeah.
honorable and it's wonderful. But again, in the olden days, we had these extended families, then you had natural respite times. Now, with families so dispersed, you just don't have that built-in extended family anymore.
And
And
a lot of our families, we have one client, she has 9 kids, and some of them are in the metro.
mm,
And so we're not the only care provider, we're part of the team.
right.
So she might have 4 of her children, visit her during the week, and we're kind of the 5th child, right? So we still have some of those extended families, but they've got their own kids, they've got their own jobs, and they can't be with their mom
Right.
every day all the time.
Well, we talked about this, the sandwich generation. You've got these amazing adult children that are raising their children, taking care of their parents or other family members, and it's amazing the strain. And they're trying to maintain their careers and their jobs and all the things that go on. So, again, it's a great way to balance. I talk about life balance, and it's just so important to stay in that equilibrium. And again, it can get out of whack really quickly. So, all right. Well, let's talk about what you guys wish people knew more about regarding your services or area of expertise. What are some of those things? And also if there's, stories about how you guys have helped other people in specific situations is also great to hear.
Yeah, so I think one of the things that is a barrier to people is the cost of the service.
Mhm.
And it's not cheap. So our current rate is $46 an hour. Now, 4 hours a week, if that's the difference between being in your home versus being in a facility, the facility is going to cost more overall, right?
Right,
But
right.
but people get, it may not be affordable for everyone, but there are options that people can make it affordable. One of the great programs is through the Veterans Administration.
Oh, yeah.
And so we're one of the VA providers of home care. I'd say about 20% of our business is paid for by the VA.
Mhm.
So if you're a veteran or, have a veteran in your family, it's definitely worth, looking into veterans benefits. So the easiest way is to give us a call, 952-892-8403. We can walk you through the various benefits available to veterans. There are also benefits available to veteran spouses as well. So even if you didn't serve, but your spouse did, there might be something there. We also work with long-term care insurance. And the best time to buy long-term care insurance was 30 years ago, but there is actually a fellow in town, Ray Alkali, and he's an insurance agent, and he has this thing he does where he can create long-term care insurance for people who currently don't have it.
Really?
Yeah, so that's an option. Also, reverse mortgages if you have equity in your house. And then there are some government programs like variations of elderly waiver can also pay. So even if you look at the $46 an hour price tag, there are options out there to make it affordable.
And that's really important because I think when people enter into this part of their life, they don't have any experience with this. So they just literally don't know what questions to even ask. And that's why it's great, again, talk to you guys who, again, had this, great organization behind you, supporting you guys, and you guys are out there helping to navigate all the benefits, both at a federal level, like the VA, but also at a local level as well.
Yeah, we know what questions to ask.
Right.
So if you call, we ask the questions. Really,
here's the questions you want to ask me.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that's really helpful because, again, people just, I think they hesitate because they don't know. I don't want to sound dumb. Well, listen, we're all dumb about many things. It's really complicated these days to age and ultimately die, it seems like. Yeah. And that's why it's so important. Partner with organizations that's their reason for being, is helping support you and your loved one.
So you were asking about examples of client stories, and that's a good segue into talking about how we can't do any of this without our choking up here. Sorry, I do this without our amazing caregivers. We had the daughter-in-law of one of our clients in the office yesterday, and she was talking about Sandy and talking about what a great difference Sandy had made in her father-in-law's life. And she was going into tears in the office, and I was going to tears in the office. And she's like, before Sandy started working with Robert, he just, his memory was going, and now he's a different person because of Sandy. So it's really like our caregivers are
it's the heart of the organization. I hear you.
Yeah.
Wow, fantastic. All right, the music is cueing us out here, Steve. It's time for a short break. We'll be right back to continue our conversation with Steve Smella, the owner of Senior Helpers of the South Metro, and Grace Hepker. She is the Client Services Manager, and they're telling us about the benefits of in-home senior care by Senior Helpers. If you have a question for us, please give us a call, 952-946-6205, or you can directly text us your question at 612-999-3426. I'm Ken Haglind, and you are listening to Living Healthy and Aging Well.
We served our country like those before us.
It was a dangerous area. All of Vietnam was dangerous.
The carnage of war left an indelible mark on me.
We came back and built lives. As time went on, we faced new challenges and found support to handle them.
I went to the VA, talked to my doctor.
I started doing groups. I started doing one-on-one counseling.
At MakeTheConnection.net, you can hear our stories and find tools and services available to you.
End-of-life decisions are not easy to make. Hi, I'm Mary T. of Mary T. Hospice Care. It's important to make sure that this difficult time is meaningful and comforting to you and your loved ones. Our hospice team provides an individualized program of physical, emotional, spiritual, and practical care so your loved one is comfortable and not in pain. At Mary T. Hospice, we understand that choosing the right hospice care provider can be overwhelming, but we're here to assist you. Learn more today at marytinc.com.
One of the best things about living in Golden Valley, they proudly support their LGBTQIA plus community. In fact, Golden Valley has more LGBTQIA plus households per capita than any city in Minnesota. and they hosted the first Suburban Pride Festival in the state. Join us for the 7th Annual Golden Valley Pride Festival on Saturday, June 7th from noon until 6 p.m. at Brookview Park. That's 200 Brookview Parkway in Golden Valley. This free, family-friendly festival honors our LGBTQIA plus neighbors, friends, and allies, and celebrates the vibrant diversity that makes our community shine. Enjoy live entertainment on 2 stages, food trucks, kids' activities, a beer, wine, and cider tent, and over 100 local vendors and community booths. Come find AM 950's booth on the south side of the park and say hi. The Illegal Trans Woman with Ellie Krug, The Gailey Show, and The Downright Upright Show with Philip Anthony will be broadcasting live from the park in the afternoon. Follow Golden Valley Pride Festival on Facebook, Instagram, and at goldenvalleypride.com. That's goldenvalleypride.com.
Hi, I'm Philip Anthony, the host of the Downright Upright Show, which airs every Saturday at 5 p.m. For the whole month of June, my show will feature LGBTQ advocates and live programming with my co-hosts Austin, Matt, and me from Golden Valley and Twin Cities Prides. The Downright Upright Show always uplifts my LGBTQ family and its allies. So tune in every Saturday at 5 p.m. and continue being fantabulous.
This is Chad, owner of AM 950. I want to tell you about a better, more environmentally friendly way to care for your lawn with Natural Lawn. Natural Lawn has been treating Minnesota lawns for more than 20 years with organic-based natural products that feed the soil without unnecessary chemicals. That means an envy-worthy, healthier lawn that's safer for your family and your furry friends. Natural Lawn has no contracts and is 100% satisfaction guaranteed. So let Natural Lawn handle your lawn care so you can enjoy your lawn. More at naturalawn.com.
All right, welcome back, everyone. You are listening to Living Healthy and Aging Well, where we talk about helping you and your loved ones improve and enjoy your quality of life. My name is Ken Haglind, and joining me today in the main studio at AM 950 is Steve Smella, and the owner of the Senior Helpers of the South Metro, and Grace Hepker. She is the Client Services Manager, and these people are very passionate about helping others take care of their loved ones. And they are sharing with us the benefits of in-home senior care by Senior Helpers. If you have a question for us, please give us a call. This is the last segment. We're at 952-946-6205, or you can text us at 612-999-3426. Grace, how can our listeners contact you or your organization if they have questions or want more information, or would like to have a complimentary consultation?
Yeah, I would say the best way to contact us is to call our office. You can do that weekday or weekends as well. Our number is 952-892-8403. There's also a lot of information on our website as well. So that's at seniorhelpers.com/Burnsville. You can also Google us at Senior Helpers Burnsville as well.
All right, fantastic. And just so everyone knows, you guys are licensed by the state of Minnesota to provide these cares and these services. So
Correct.
It's not just people walking off the street here. Your team goes through testing, training, background checking. So that's really helpful to know that they're going to get high quality support and care for their loved ones.
Correct.
All right, last segment. Let's talk about, just the great help that you are providing to your clients and your families.
I think, the most rewarding part of our work is hearing stories and feedback from both clients and caregivers. I know one of the biggest ones that stuck with me, we had a caregiver meet a new client, and it wasn't until probably an hour into her shift, she was saying, "I recognize you somewhere, like I know your face." And she was actually about to bathe him and asked what he did for work. And they found out that the man was her dentist for her entire adult life. And so she bathed him and said, "I hope that I can take as good of care of you as you did of me."
Wow.
And, for that just to be a coincidence and then to serve someone who had served her for so long, I just think that's very profound and it's what are the odds, you know?
Isn't that something though? As we talked on break, I think one of the highest forms of spirituality is serving others. The amount of joy that I know that I get and my organization gets, that you guys get from, again, providing a great, outstanding service to helping others, especially those who have gone before us, to honor them with great care and great service. And I mean, it really is an honor to be able to do that. And I know you guys, like us, take that so seriously.
And I think that's, we were just talking about the caregivers before break. And I think
Yeah.
that's kind of the ideal caregiver for us, is somebody who's not doing it necessarily for the paycheck. They're doing it because they found something that gives meaning to their life.
These are also people within the community too. So, they live in each other's community, and that's how, they got connected in the first place. And so people are working around where they live as well, which I think even more so strengthens those bonds between clients and caregivers. I mean, we have clients that have had caregivers now for years.
Wow.
And they feel
Yeah.
like family at this point.
Yeah. Well, like I say, the commonality too. We live and play and work and worship and whatever else in these areas that you serve in, and it just makes a real strong connection because they can relate. Like you said earlier, you said, I'm a transplant from Iowa and
Yeah.
Nebraska, and I know the South Metro like the back of my hand.
Yeah.
It's great once you are in there. It just helps because it just fosters the communication and the partnership. Because it really is a partnership with the family.
Yeah, you really learn the community when you learn the people that are in it, for sure.
Yeah. No, that's great. That's great. Are there any other stories or any other things that you want to share in the last couple of minutes here of the show?
Yeah. So I was thinking about two clients we've had, and both of them, when I first went to the house for that initial visit, were in bed and basically unresponsive. And I thought, wow, they're going to be with us for a month at the most. And one of them has been with us for almost 2 years now, and the other one was with us for about a year. And it's just amazing to see the difference that we've made in sort of taking them from being lying in bed unresponsive to up and about and walking around. And the second client, the last time I went to her house to pop in, she was sitting in her living room, and the caregiver was just brushing her hair, and she had the biggest smile on her face, like she was having a spa day.
Right.
And it's so meaningful to see how we help people. I mentioned my previous background was a data scientist, and I do my job at corporate America and never really think of how am I helping anybody? I'm crunching numbers all day. Am I making a difference? I don't have that question in this business at all. I know exactly how we're helping people every day. It's really gratifying.
Right. So if someone's listening who's maybe daughter or a neighbor is interested in working in this field, what are you guys looking for in terms of somebody who could fit in with your organization, your culture, and kind of the philosophy that you guys, and I know the philosophy you have because I work with you guys. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so we are always looking for caregivers. As you can imagine, it's a growing business, and we're
Yes.
always looking to have caregivers to meet the demand. So as I mentioned, it's really the best caregivers are the ones who are doing it. They could get more money working, at a Target, or they could get more money working in Amazon warehouse, right? And so it's not about the money, right? It's about doing something that makes a difference in people's lives. We have a lot of younger, especially immigrants, who are, starting their life in America,
Yeah.
and it's a great entry level job for them. And then we also have, ladies who are like 55 to 70, who are retired, and they've taken care of their own parents and relatives, and they just discover that, wow, this is something I really enjoy doing.
Yeah.
It's a really great, flexible part-time job. And so caregivers get to build their own schedules. And that works great for a lot of people.
And that is one of the great benefits. They have the flexibility of building their own schedules.
Yeah.
No, that's fantastic. All right. Well, it's time to wrap up the show. I want to thank Steve Smella, the owner of Senior Helpers of the South Metro, and Grace Hepker. She is the Client Services Manager. Two amazing people that I would encourage you to reach out, give them a call, and get a consultation, a free consultation about what they could do to help you and your family. For more information on that, please give them a call at 952-898.
892.
892. I'm sorry, 8403. 952-892-8403. All right. We hope you enjoyed today's show. Please contact us with any questions or comments you have regarding today's conversation. You can reach us anytime by voice or text at 612-999-3426. Until next time, choose to live well.
It's no secret that medical care costs are soaring, with nursing home and skilled nursing care costs being some of the highest. You don't have to deplete your savings in order to receive long-term care. At Schroman